everybody. Welcome to the Board Game Live. I'm Seppy from Fight in a Box. This is our tabletop hero, Steve. And today, we're going to embrace the topic of March, which is working in the tabletop industry. And the very first topic we're going to cover is the GAMA trade show in Louisville, Kentucky. Now, Steve, you did a great recap where you ran and talked to everybody. I loved that. This is a topic you and I decided on at the show, and so I appreciate that. Tell me a little bit about your history with tabletop, how you started gaming, and then how you started doing content.
All right. Well, I've been gaming for a very long time, since I was a kid. So I'm not going to put my age out there, but yeah, long time.
What year? What year did you start gaming? Do you have to put your age?
When did I set up Mousetrap for the first time? Never played it. But no, I've been in the hobby and as it is today, at least 20 years.
It's 20 years! That's great.
Yeah. But as far as content, I started roughly a year ago. I'm almost 1 year. I think the 16th marks a year for me doing this.
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, I kept seeing everyone do it. I studied social media for a little while to see what makes a good video, and I figured I'd try it out, and it worked, and I just kept doing it. It's a lot of fun to do, and I love sharing this. I love that people who don't even know gaming see a video of mine and they ask a question about what are all these games? What are they? And this whole new world opens up for them, and it's exciting to watch people glow and light up over the experience of tabletop gaming. Love it.
So you've hit 2 points from previous guests. Number one, we did a live with Becky from Rainbow Bunny Bop, and she was like, before you start posting content anyplace, learn what good content looks like and being a good citizen in that place looks like. And so you took that advice, or you had already had that advice, and you went and did that, and that helped you be successful. And then number two, you took advice that we've gotten from Rosie, the Cozy Board Gamer, and she is like, good content should be good no matter who you are and where you are in your journey. Like, good content should resonate with the person, even if they're stepping into the hobby for the very first moment with your content. So, good job, Steve.
Well, thanks. Gold stars.
Gold stars. Like, our past guests here on the Wednesday Board Game Live would approve of your behavior. But I had thought you had done, like, considering the quality of your content, I had assumed you've been doing this a lot longer than a year, Steve. So fantastic on you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I just studied all sorts of social media, and see, it's fascinating if you look at the psychology behind what grabs people's attention, and able to apply that to the videos and have people, just respond and connect. And, when I went to GAMA, I've been doing this stuff in my home just for fun, and playing games. And I went to GAMA. I was surprised how many people recognized who I was. And, because it's so weird to join a community and you walk in there and just blown away by that. So,
TikTok there's not that many of us, and we're pretty close. So, and you've been posting on the regular for a year. It's not weird for us to notice who you are. But if Tom Vassell knew who you were, then that would be surprising.
Which I don't think he did. But he did give me the opportunity to be on camera for him. I did make it onto a Dice Tower video, which is
I did see that. I was like, how did he sneak in there? I'm like, did Tom really know who he was? Like Tom begrudgingly acknowledges that I exist, and it's been 13 years or whatever it's been. 12 years. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. Okay, so you liked, you thought there was an opportunity for you. You just wanted to see your own voice. Getting started with content was just something you're like, I really want to do this too. Like, tell me about a little bit about how you got the bug to start doing content. You're like, I can dance.
No dancing. No, I started by taking photos at game day. I was sitting down playing a game with my friends. I always loved photography. I think that's where it started. And so I started taking cool angles of the game. And I would see people make content, and I'm always think like if they just turned a little bit more this way or a little bit more that way, and playing around with the camera, and that's really what started it, was doing videos and playing around with it, and I thought it'd be fun to share that with just throw it out there and see what happens, and it's been an overwhelmingly good response from people, so very very.
That's good. So the number one advice that I love from Rosie about this very topic is be good at something. If you're good at anything, then it becomes video worthy. As long as you are good at a thing, then it will translate. I think I'm good at being loud and being persistent.
Very personal too, and that's one thing I want to mention about GAMA. When I was talking about like people would come up and recognize who I was, I'd shake their hand. The culture that we have in our board game community, and it's the same. It's universal everywhere you go. It's here locally in Michigan, as it was when I went down to Louisville. The culture is unlike anything else that you will see in this world. Everyone is friendly. You feel like you've known them forever, and it's a very welcoming environment. So,
how many people said the people in your video? I myself being one of them. I'm like, that's not hard. I'm like, this is what strikes us as the answer to this question. Like, what is your favorite thing about GAMA? Yeah.
As I was editing all the footage together, I'm like, they're all saying the same thing. The people, I didn't realize it when I was filming it because it was all throughout the week. But when you put it all together, I was like, man, this is just the love you feel out of that is great.
Redbeard is from Michigan and asks, "Oh, you're Michigan people? We have a few Michigan people. Mr. E's Michigan. I think Neon Yellow Shay's Michigan. Yeah, there's quite a few. I have escaped from Michigan myself, but
we have a great community here in Michigan when it comes to board gaming. A lot across the state. A lot of great cons here too.
In our current media environment where everything seems like it's on fire, and everybody is at each other's throats, like gaming is very different that way. Like, gaming is very different. Like, I was part of the Rainbow Mafia. I'm obviously a member of the Rainbow Mafia and LGBTQIA. But gaming has made me feel more welcome than and I've been out longer than Magic the Gathering, Steve. So
that's two of us. Well, not out, but in the gaming.
I started my journey with like tabletop gaming, like serious tabletop gaming in the 70s. So we are in a slightly different, like seeing how gaming has evolved over these last, I guess it's 5 decades now. It has been sort of the testament of my existence. Like, gaming has gotten more inclusive. The quality of games has gotten better.
Oh, yeah.
The number of people who game has hugely exploded, and games have gotten better appropriately. Like, there is a cycle of people do a thing, they want to make the thing, then they bring more people into the thing who want to do the thing and then make the thing. Like that's something that Neon Yellow Shay had brought up in one of his videos back in like last year. And it holds true. Like the games we make now are more approachable, quicker to play, and smarter in their own way, and obviously manufactured better and more cheaply despite 20% tariffs.
Yeah, that's not going to be more cheaply for long, but hopefully, it's hard to say because we have a leader right now that likes to change his mind quite a bit, so it could go away and come right back. We never know. But,
but Michigan is one of the people who are affected by the Canadian power.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, It's the northern New England and Michigan are affected by this more closely. Yeah. Do you think there is a limit or a cap to people joining gaming? And the answer is no.
No, I moved out to the area I'm in now back in 21, and I was shocked that there was no local like gaming group that met. So I made one. I started one up, and it's at the local library, and we have people wander in, and it's monthly, but they'll wander in, wonder what we're doing. And again, the culture, it's not just me, but the people in the group will just say, hey, come on over, and you have any questions, and very inviting. And we've had people know nothing about games sit down and play. And now they're returning every month playing, so now a group where we had just a few people is, it's good, at least 20, 30 on a regular basis, sometimes higher, sometimes lower. But yeah, there's no limit. We have people from all walks of life walk in and play. And that's what's great about this hobby and the experience that you have, for sure.
The critical mass for gaming and the quality of gaming content from at least from a role-playing perspective is better than it's ever been. And so I don't, David, hey David, thank you for sounding in. I don't think that's changing, but if I can use an old guy analogy about the process of migrating across the United States, obviously that's also the process of removing indigenous people, but we're going to ignore that part of the story. But different people will go so far on that journey, and what most gateway gamers, don't realize is the hobby can go as deep for them as they are willing to go. They can go to the other ocean, right? Mm-hmm. But some are like, I have 12 games. I'm good. I got 12 games, So the question is, how many people can we get to embrace 8 games in their game library?
Oh, quite a bit, especially families,
Right.
The great thing about families is that every person in that family has a different taste of what they like. So, even if each one owns one and then it's a small family of say 3 or 4, that's 3 or 4 games. But, anyone who's in the hobby knows one game's never enough, is it? So, if you have
that's the hope. That's the hope. I think gaming events are going to continue to grow through the year. As far as some of them, we're actually seeing, to David's point though, we are actually seeing the physical limitations of space for these events.
Yes.
And that gets us to our topic today, which is the GAMA recap. Yay! Yeah. GAMA itself is hit the physical limitations of the Louisville Convention Center already.
And which is huge, by the way.
Which is enormous, right? Yeah. This year's attendance, I think, was the same as last year's, but since it got distributed different ways, it felt less. But they doubled the expo hall, for example, and the number of people who are interested in opening game stores or game cafes or game design. Also, those are people who have gone this far along the gaming journey themselves. At a point in time, just playing the games is not enough. Mm-hmm. And when that is said, that's what brings us to the topic for the month. When do you find that you want to have a life in the industry? Yeah. So I know Bowser is on here, and he's trying to start one. And we started with your journey, Steve. You're like, hey, I have an eye for this. I think I can add my voice to the choir of fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what made you decide you wanted to...
I do have the dream to open a store as well. So, I kind of get that itch from these guys are coming to GAMA, for sure. That was part of my trip there, too, is let's dip our toe in that pool and see what it takes to open one up.
Yeah. So this gets me my first question for you today, and for the industry question. What made you decide that you wanted to go to GAMA? And how would you describe GAMA to somebody who doesn't know what it is?
That's a great question, because I just experienced that. I wanted to go to GAMA because I want to have a job somewhere in this industry because it's something I love and I'm passionate about. I am an electrician by trade, and I am getting older. So bodies don't last very long, and as you get older, you climb, ladders are harder to climb, that sort of thing. So I want to get into the industry and help where I can help make this flourish, because not only for my own selfish benefit, but I want to spread this joy to as many people as I can, because there's nothing like it, as you know, and as anyone watching this right now, there's nothing like that experience. You can play Xbox Live, you can go to the movies, you can go to concerts, and you can have short limitation in these bonds with people, but you can't have the same memories and experiences that you have at the game table. And there's nothing like that. And honestly, I could have dinner with someone, but I would get to know that person more just playing a game with them, than anything else. So it truly is a passion. It truly is fun. And I would love to do this for a living if I can. And so that was my decision to go to GAMA, because I don't know how the industry works at all. I have an understanding or an idea. Maybe I know, games are made in multiple factories and they're assembled in one place and then they're shipped. But how do they get to game stores? Distributors do, but how does that work? And which game companies go to which distributors? And how does all of this pull together? So I really wanted to learn how this industry worked and where I could fit in it. So that's why I chose to go to GAMA. And when I went there, between the presentations, the seminars you would go to, they were so informative. And not only that, but everyone there is so willing to share their side of the business and collaborate.
Let's talk about that. GAMA is the trade show for the tabletop industry. And the number one thing that it has to offer to people who are interested in a life in gaming is like 101 beginning seminars for any number of topics based on people who have already done them. Okay? Mm-hmm. It is also an opportunity for you to meet people who are also starting that journey or just a couple years in. One of the things that I very much advocate for people is find a battle buddy. You would think that somebody who's been in the industry 20 years is a better mentor than somebody who's been in the industry 4. But not always the case, depending on the topic. Like, if somebody has gone through something like recently and worked through the modern version of that problem, their knowledge might be more relevant than somebody who solved that problem 20 years ago.
Yes. Yeah, because as we can see with tariffs are a great example, that problems are, they come around and they cycle every year. So it's good to have fresh perspectives and from different people in the industry, for sure. Yeah.
And so they have designer tracks, they have retailer tracks, they have content creator. Did they have a content creator track?
They sure did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a track is basically a set of seminars targeted towards one audience, and people jump around. Also, different people give different seminars and different quality, and depending on what you need to work on in your business, you can gravitate to those things. And it can be from the base level, like, hey, how do I get product in my shop? How do I set it up so that I'm ordering the right amount of mix? What are the traps to fall into? And then after it is, how do I build a brand? How do I build a following? All these lessons that you pick up along the way with an idea that you're always improving. Absolutely. Okay. So Steve.
I learned some myself for media, like building trust, not only with your viewership, but with publishers as well, because we do a lot of work with publishers as far as reviewing their games. And then as we do those reviews, what constitutes a genuine review or a paid advertisement for a game, and how to be clear about that, which I thought was very, very informative. There's no true legalities there. It's more of missing the word here. It's more of a moral thing. If
it's also platform community standards, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, hey, were you given money or product for your opinion, and or was that opinion given to you?
Right. But I kind of, before I even took the seminar, I kind of had an idea for that. In my videos, my reviews, anyone that's seen them, if I do get a game from a publisher, I make that known. Thank you for this copy, and here's where you can see
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah,
It's different when the reviewer says, "I paid for this game with my own money," or "I went and backed this game." Like, hey, this is a prototype, but I went and got back this game. They all show different levels of weight and interest for games. Yes, so surprising things. I know this is your topic. What were your big surprises for GAMA?
big surprise. Well, I mentioned one, the fact that I was even recognized by people. That was a surprise.
That
But
seems like a self-esteem rather than a GAMA issue.
yeah, no. But as far as Gamma, the big surprises for me was again the culture was huge because I felt like this was a very closed off community, a very small community, and there's a lot of times in different trades there are gatekeepers. There were no gatekeepers here, and for me, I was really shocked because I really thought that there would be gatekeepers. No one would want to share their information. Um, Other surprises for Gamma was how well structured it was as far as, like you said, tracks for the different seminars and how you can sneak in and out of different seminars. I thought for sure, like, well, I have a media badge, I can't go to retail and I can't go. No, that wasn't the case at all. I was welcome to go wherever I want and learn what I wanted. So with the exception of there were certain things for retailers only, such as publishers would have their announcements or their presentations for the games coming out that year. They'd want those only for retailers. So I wasn't able to do those, but majority of everything else I was. So that was surprising because I thought I was going to be limited to what I did.
This year that didn't happen. They do a media first look event.
Yes, that was cool.
They do that at Origins too. Some years. Yeah, those are actually pretty good. I'm a fan of those. I wish they had done those this year. All right, so number one, you were expecting gatekeeping. So the caveat to your "is there gatekeeping" is sometimes you will run into something that does not have a clear answer. And the reason you're not given a clear answer because there is no clear answer. Like there's like 8 ways that people are doing them, and all of them are fairly unhappy with having to do it that way. And so there's some of that going on. There's also like regional specific or in gaming specific answers that don't necessarily apply to you. Like what works for a retailer who focuses on CCGs might not work for somebody who's also a toy store, for example, right? Mm-hmm. And so you do have to take the advice that you're given through the lens of where you want to stand in gaming.
That's good advice. Yes.
Okay, so number 2, what was your second surprise?
Second surprise would be, I don't know. It was all so new to me, Seppy, to be honest with you. Like the surprises, I guess next year I'll be surprised more because I have more of understanding what I was walking into because I had no idea. I had limited, I'd done as much research as I could and write up as what I could about GAMA and explain that. My whole thing when I went.
Did you feel prepared?
Yeah, well, somewhat prepared because I had a schedule. I was a nerd about it. When the schedule was released, I sat there with the Google Calendar, and I just before I knew there was an app, and it was terrible. And I won't do this next year, but I built out an actual Google Calendar of every single thing I wanted to see and do, along with any appointments I had with publishers. So,
I still do that. I don't trust the app for that. No. Like you do your Google Calendar. I think that's better. Like,
gotcha.
Because there's one thing that there's seminars you want to see, but there's also the appointments that you set with people, and yeah.
Yeah, and having it at two buildings was, it wasn't a huge deal, but except for when it was raining, it was raining like the last night, I think. But it wasn't a huge deal, but it was weird to, a little bit of loss getting back and forth. I think.
All right. So for folks who don't know downtown Louisville, the two places that there was content for the GAMA trade show was the KIC, the Kentucky something Convention Center. What does the I in KIC stand
Kentucky
for?
International Convention Center.
Okay, is it international? So the KIC,
So.
which is their big convention center, and then down the street towards the river, the Galt Hotel. Those are the two places. And if you wanted to pick a place to have meetings and interact with people that you know in the industry, or people just want to have conversations, you had two places where you could stand the entire convention and interact with everybody that you're going to see. And that was sort of the lobby of the Galt or up in the Skyway, and then like first floor or second floor for the KIC. And you could just interact with people as they came in.
Or the street. Or the street. I ran into some designers in the street that just opened up their backpack right there and started showing me their game that they're working on. So
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
So for my number one big surprise is getting to John from Terrible Games' advice about being in the industry is, if you want to be in the industry, just stay in the industry. Sooner or later, the industry will catch up to you. Yeah. Like, I had a distributor, my first GAMA, actually say to me, I know we set this meeting, but if I see you next year, we can talk.
Really?
Yeah, this is a while ago, but I was like, oh. But now, 13 years later, it is very hard for me to move around without hitting somebody who has a story about me acting like an idiot.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, though.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I know. It was never my intention to know a lot of people, but that is ended up being the case. And your story, how you connect with their story. Growing up, how I did. I went to school on 8 Mile, and I'm from Mount Clemens.
I live just north in Chesterfield, just north of Mount Clemens there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't good to be Asian in Detroit in the 80s. It was not, and it was not good to be gay around the AIDS era. Like, both of those things. So I never had put a lot of stock to be able to go to a place that would be welcoming and that people would want to come up and talk to me. But the GAMA has proven that wrong. Like, I have multiple decades of bad life experiences, and slowly those are being eroded by nice gaming people.
Yeah.
So that still blows me away. Like,
when you decide to be a jerk, you start losing people to play with. That's my thought on that. We all want someone to play with, and if you're going to be selective who sits at your table, then you're going to have very few players to have.
Yeah, I think there's been a massive shift in that direction. Like, gatekeeping is not acceptable in and around gaming, and with the growth of gaming doubling in size in 2021, like, there's more people who are fresh to the hobby too than there has ever been. Like, back to David's earlier point about, is there a bubble? The answer is, you should look at individual areas and how those behaviors are going to change. And maybe if I do a seminar on GAMA, that would be the thing. Like, event spaces, I think events will continue to grow. Like, the trend for them, people want to go places where they can connect with others. There's a lot of things going on in the universe where people don't feel connected or feel loved. And like, a gaming convention is the exact opposite. And I think that is very compelling reason to want to go year after year. And into my weirdo earlier point, like, I did not realize how important my con family would be to my general sense of well-being. Like, these people that I get to see 6 to 9 different times in a year is more often than I see family by a lot.
Yeah. It's to kind of build on your point a little bit, at the risk of feeling sounding sappy here, but there's a lot of kids, a lot of youth out there that feel alone and disconnected, especially when it comes to screens and social media, and they can't get away from bullies in school, things like that. And I want them to find this space for them to come to. If there's anything I could do, this is it. Because to be accepted like that, where you feel alone, is huge. You just touched on that. Being here, Asian and gay, was you didn't feel accepted, but now you do. Imagine kids that feel alone and isolated and stuck with just everything they see on social media, people that don't look like them, people that don't act like them, don't feel like them. To have a safe place to go to and have real connection with people, that is huge. So any way that we can make that grow, I think that should be a focus. So I just
No, absolutely. Like from like pronoun ribbons to like where you are in the community and how you feel about like where people can go see, oh, that person is like me. They might look differently on the outside, but that person, in other key factors. It's very, 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 very important. Um, uh, so building on my number two would be building on the business relationships that I had from previous years. My biggest surprise was End of the Line. In the second edition of that is coming out this year. And I was at a retailer group, a small private group, and one of the retailers there talked about how they loved the game so much that the original version of the game cannot leave their game library. You cannot check it out and take it home because it will never come back. And I'm like, are you lying? Are you like making this stuff up? Like that game is crazy. And they're like, why? Did you write it? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I did. I was like, ooh, you never know about it. Mark, my creative director, decided that my names have to be on the boxes now. But for our first 5 games, my name was not on the box.
Oh. Well, and why was that?
Because I always wanted people to care about the games, rather like I never wanted to really be the face of Fight in a Box. I really, 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 really didn't.
Oh.
This content thing happened from one of my exes. He was like, "Hey, you need to get on TikTok." And my first TikTok, I think, as you can still see it, is me taking Kaiser Cucumber and doing a little like. You got to scroll all the way back to see that one.
Well, for promotion, you should get that on camera.
Wow, what's that?
Where if the story, if they're going to check out the library, I'll never come back.
Oh yeah, I'll have to ask John if he would say that.
Yeah,
I was blown away. Yeah, I was like, people are still discovering us. Yeah, like we've sold at this point 17,000 Squirreloo dies. And people are still like, what's that game? I'm like, I think that's a large number, but it's nothing. In the size of gaming, that's nothing.
Right.
Right?
Looks like there's a question there for you. What's your favorite game you created?
Oh my gosh, really?
That's a good one.
For game design, for proof that I exist, for fun of running, there's a lot. Like each game is like, what is inherently the best game, like game design that I did? Like they're all like different answers to that question. All right, so you had some time to think. You had some time to think, Steve.
All right.
Other surprises from GAMA. Give me one last one.
Other surprises. Oh, geez.
Things that people would not think about. Oh my gosh, it's a scary fish.
Oh, it is.
Things that people would not think about if they showed up there. Like, yeah.
I was expecting. I was expecting more. I guess it had more of a convention feel. I was expecting it to be people sitting down and playing games everywhere. And I guess that's sort of true after hours. Like over at the Geld House, you would have a lot of people sitting down. I played some great prototypes over there. So I was thinking it was going to be more of, I want to say convention style. I was thinking it was more of like a business style environment. So where, you're going up to games and they're showing you the game, like, and if someone's giving you a demo, here's how the game works. But then they're like, sit down and play the game. And that's where I was surprised because I didn't think that any of that was going to happen. I really thought this was like a trade show, right? And I'm going off of information I got about GAMA. And so the expectation was, all right, we're going to go see games, but we're not going to sit down and play a whole lot of games, except for like.
The best part of GAMA is either people talking or playing games. Like,
right. Oh, that was the best part. I got one for you.
Best part.
I got one for you. Sitting down at game night, doing a demo, playing the game, and then the person going, "Here's a drink ticket," and I didn't realize that there were even drinks. And I'm looking.
Was that me? Did I do that to you, Steve?
No. Like,
like game night has drink tickets.
It was almost like the cherry was put on top of that little sundae. I was just having such a great time. I was like, oh, have a drink.
The Sunday night mixer was a surprise for me. Hey, everybody, say hello to everybody. Go meet a stranger. I thought that was actually very good. I did Floodgate for the first time as like helping them with marketing. I liked it. Like, I've never been in a big boy booth, like as like the star attraction for a big boy booth. And so that was fun, being in front of a video screen. I really like Landmarks as a title. Mm-hmm. And so that was easy. And then I ran it at game night. Normally, I just run our games, which, like are of a size or of a specific feel. But running somebody else's game, I didn't know that I would like it as much as I did. I would recommend it, Fencing Sky, if you are relatively close and you want to take the time. The best thing about GAMA after the people, or in conjunction with the people that multiple people said, was this convention, you can take time with other people.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's really two conventions where you can give people unlimited time. And the unlimited time conventions are GAMA and Origins.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Origins is Wednesday through Sunday. Like, there is time enough for days for everybody. Like, it's crazy. And GAMA is also 5 days. And so you have time enough for everybody.
Yeah.
Cut.
Yeah, and then I had another surprise, and it just escaped my head. I'll come back to it. I did have another surprise, though. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank.
So, after surprises, now we're going to talk about things that you learned at the convention.
Oh, I learned a lot. I learned so much.
Yeah, what are your favorite things that you learned this GAMA 2025?
So, the first thing that I learned that I thought was very useful, it was more of like legal jargon about ways that you can get in trouble doing what I do. Yeah.
Nice.
It was good to learn that. That way I can safeguard myself against any kind of, and not to say that it happens, but it's possible, because in other areas of content creation, there's been lawsuits and things that have happened. So it was cool to have actual legal counsel there that tell you, this is what the do's and don'ts that you do. That was one great thing I learned. Something else.
Instead of learning the hard way. Yeah.
Instead of learning the hard way. The other thing I thought that I learned that I thought was great was the process of making games themselves. And this is from talking to designers. The process, the play testing, the whole play testing event was very cool to see. You saw games that were anywhere from construction paper and just random pieces to things that look like finished products with their prototype.
Don't pick on me, Steve.
But no, it was super cool to sit down. And then the other thing is that designers are so open to hearing any kind of critiques you have, anything at all. And they're sitting there, they're taking notes and they're writing everything down. And they're very encouraging because once you give them a good idea, like that was really good. Now all of a sudden I'm like, all right, well, what else can I come up with? And what else can I come up with?
Let's talk about that. All right, for folks who are just sounding in or joining us, I'm Seppy with Fight in a Box. This is Steve, the Tabletop Hero. This month we are discussing the life you choose when you enter the game industry. And our first topic is the game industry trade show, GAMA, which happens in Louisville, Kentucky. We talked about some of the surprises. Now we're talking about, hey, what are some of the things that we learned? Now, if you've never been in a playtesting environment before, or if you're thinking about, like, I not only love games, what is it like to make games or design games? GAMA has a lot of resources in and around that. I myself, my other channel is dedicated to the board game design tip for the day. I'm a huge fan of the Protospiel circuit that runs from Ann Arbor all the way up to the Twin Cities. That's part of a whole circuit that you can do. But one of the very first mistakes that people run into is they think games are like other things where you need to keep your ideas private, or when you hear an idea, like you're somehow your idea is less from being such a cowboy. Your idea is less for having somebody contribute to it. But, you know, like board game culture takes from video game culture. Like there is massive amounts of testing that goes in and people giving feedback and suggestions to make the best game possible. Because it is always the case that we is better than me. And you will see good game designers take all the stuff in and look for trends or inspiration from multiple playtest sessions. You should never take advice one-off. It's not, you know, it's a knee-jerk reaction. But if you see that something is coming up a lot or something inspires you to take your design in a new direction, you should go for it. That's what playtesting really is for. Mm-hmm. All right, so you got to go through your first play. You're like, hey, like games start in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah. Especially at GAMA, I was thinking like maybe people are showing off like almost finished products for publishers. It was my expectation going to GAMA, but there were people that just had. We went to. I met someone. They come around. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing for dinner?" And we're like, "No, there's this troll bar. You want to go check out? Go check it out." Oh yeah, I'm Steve. You know, and then we would go have dinner, and we put a couple tables together. Hey, do you want to play something? Pulls out a little deck of cards. And it was someone who designed games, and they wanted to play test it, and you know, and I had a great time. I'll never forget that person. You know, it's great.
Like next year, I might get myself like a vest or a trench coat, and then line my trench coat with my little games, and that'll be my booth. You're like, hey, you want to play a game? Hey.
You gotta get him around a corner first. Like, shh, hey, come here.
Hey, this game is good.
But that was super cool. And I remembered the surprise, if I can just circle back to the surprise. Actually, it's two surprises, but same thing. It's meeting people and not knowing who they are. And then when they tell you who they are, it blows your mind. So I met one person and I said, oh, what do you do? I'm a creator. I'm a designer. Oh, okay. What have you worked on? He's like, oh, most recently for Fromage. The first person I met at GAMA. Fromage happens to be one of my favorite games. I haven't covered it yet. I played a lot.
Nice.
And that blew me away. And then at the game night, we sit down, and I cannot remember the name of the game, but there's a game that was being taught by a gentleman named Askar, and he's teaching us the game. And we asked, "Did you design this game?" He said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, what else have you designed?" He's like, he just starts saying stuff. And then, have you heard of Heat? Heat? which is a phenomenal game. To me, games like Heat is like a rock star game. So I'm sitting across from Axl Rose and playing a game with him. Now,
Heat is incredible. Like he's
a great guy.
My moment with that was Manny Vega. Like you would not think Manny does not look like the guy who's making cutesy cutesy teacup dragons and like petite little witchcraft games, but he is. And he was just a joy to talk to.
Yeah, he is. I had the pleasure of meeting him as well. He did the demo for the Witch's Teacup game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got to talk to him about interacting. Like his developer for his game is our Mondo Davis from TikTok. Oh, and I got to ask him like, so what is Mondo like working with?
Give me the dirt.
That was eye-opening. Like the guy on the game show is more like the actual guy, just so you know.
That's good.
You know Mondo was on that game show, right?
No. But
yeah, Mondo was on a game show.
Really? What game show?
Yeah, go look it up.
Okay.
That's why he has so many followers. He jumped from like whatever 10 to like 100 because he was on the show.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Mondo. Absolutely. Yeah, the things you learn as you go along. All right. So, things you learned. We're on things you learned from GAMA.
Yeah, I did see a question come through and it said, what were the do's and don'ts? And one of the seminars I took was strictly on embargoes and why they're important. Yes. And so I had an expectation walking in of, well, it's because, they want to distribute the game. They want to have enough hype built to where there's interest to buy the game. But when they went to a deep dive for that, I learned a lot more, and it made the importance of embargoes that much more. I will never break an embargo after this class. The big thing is like, I'm sure someone's ruined a movie for you. That's the example they put, where like, I saw the movie yesterday and this plot twist in the end and they did this and now you don't want to see that movie. You've ruined it for them. So it's not you're ruining it for the publisher or the retail store owner. You're ruining it for the people who love what we do. And that's like...
Ruin is a very specific word. I think it's always a good idea to say you're taking away from them an experience they never get to have. Yes. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you saw Seven, right? If you've never seen the movie Seven, telling them the ending, like, there are punchline movies that this is the thing. And if you are told the punchline in advance, you will never get to have that jaw-dropping, like, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. This is a perfect example. Mm-hmm. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. It's got a punchline. Be ready.
Yeah, I had someone do that to me. The movie Signs, and he's like, "Oh, water." That's all he said was water.
Oh,
come on. Oh, yeah.
Come on.
That's watching this. I haven't seen Signs. I just ruined
it. Come on.
I just broke it. Oh, man.
Yeah, don't get attached to Ned Stark. Like these things that people should not,
right?
Should not say. Oh, alrighty then. So, now that we're in the what would you have done differently at GAMA? What are you going to do? What are you looking forward to doing next year if you're going to go again? First of all, would you go again?
Yes, I will go. I am going again. That's already been decided. That was decided the first day I was there because it's unlike any. I've been to my fair share of game conventions. This is unlike anything like that. This is on the inside of the industry, meeting people who have the same passion that you have, and you're just feeding off that energy. That alone is kind of a hook for me. Doing differently, I think I would definitely sit down with more publishers. I arranged a few meetings because I wanted to take in seminars and really learn about the industry. But I feel like I made a lot of good connections with publishers I did sit down with and meet. And I'm looking forward to working with them. But I'm seeing right now that my niche, as it stands now, is I want to spread those games out. Like I started off this conversation, I want to spread the word out there of these great games are coming to us, and the best way to do that is through relationships with publishers. So I definitely want to meet some more publishers and have some more chats. And the downside to the exhibit hall is that as a media guy, I kind of feel bad walking in there and introducing myself because they're trying to get orders in. They're trying to get their year set up, right? And you don't want
no, the exhibit hall is for retailers and for media people.
Yeah.
And like especially with that second day, there's time enough for you. Don't feel bad about that. A lot of the publishers will even take meetings during booth time for various people if it's set up and so forth and whatnot. That's what it's for. Like, yeah.
And I think I'd spend more time. I didn't find out till later in the convention that there was all that happening late at night at the Galt House. If I had known that, I probably would have taken more advantage of doing that sort of stuff. Because I had two friends with me, and we set up a table in between the two beds in our hotel room, and we'd stay up till 1 or 2 in the morning anyway playing games. And I knew there was a whole building where that was taking place. We would have done that. So
you should have done that. You could have done the exact same thing in a place where you could have had more people join in the fun. Yes.
The last
unlimited gameplay. I think for me, for next year, I would want to sneak into, like, I've spent a lot of time, obviously, in the board game area, running demos or playing people's games. I think I would sneak over to there's an RPG room as well.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would spend some time there. Either running a game or playing a game would be a hoot. Because I haven't done it before. And not at GAMA. Not at GAMA. Like, role-playing games, I've been playing Dungeons & Dragons since the 70s. Like,
gotcha. All right, good. I was like, that's really odd. You've been doing it for so long and never RPG.
No, but for GAMA, I have not done the RPG side of GAMA. I have friends at Monty Cook Games. I have friends at Ninth Level Games. I absolutely love Hearted the Deernicorn. I love Ross and his crew. I would like to see sort of what that's like. Because, for me, like working a booth is, I'll give you a 10-minute experience inside the game. We'll play enough of the game and have that happen. Like, but what do you do? Like an RPG's normal time unit isn't a board game's 45 minutes or 20 minutes if it's a small box game, right? Like an RPG's minimum unit now is like 2 hours. It used to be 4 hours, right? But back in the day, it used to be 6 or 8 hours. Like, how do you compress something that is at a minimum 2 hours now into... Oh, see, speak of the devil. I told Mondo Davis that we were talking about you, Mondo. So, yes. So I think I would spend some time there. Like, there is something going on at GAMA. Yes, it was. We also talked about you being on a game show. We also, like, there are more things to do than even with, like, there's hours to do something, but you can go from breakfast meeting to 1 a.m. gaming, every one of those, like, from, like, Sunday through Wednesday easy. And like I'm of an age, I cannot do that anymore.
I didn't think I could either, but I pulled it off. I think I slept from about 2 a.m. to 6 every day. It was fine.
You were so excited. Like, I was like, oh, like, I would have like 6 hours in the morning and then maybe 6 hours in the evening. But if I did that, then I would take a break. Like, I take a siesta in the middle of the day. Like, if I was going to do like 8 to 2 and then check out from 2 to 6 and then come back and do 6 to midnight, I would do that. Like, pacing yourself, I think, is a good like, you should be, it's about quality interactions, not quantity. Mm-hmm. That would be my number one advice as well. Like, do what feels comfortable and fun for you. And if you can do like the 18-hour day, then go for it.
I was shocked I could.
Yeah, there's some people like Danny Standering, Grant Lyon, Jeff Tidwell. There are a lot of people that I know who just can just go hard the entire time, and I'm like, no. And that's okay. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to just say no.
Right, right, or just sneak off and take a nap somewhere, find a corner.
Yeah. Oh my God, a nap is it's survival. The disco nap is a survival mechanism. It really is. All right, so we're now in the wrap up, Steve.
Oh man, an hour went by real quick.
It did. I'm sorry if I was over chatty. I usually let my guests you're fantastic. So, as we are talking about the industry, and you were talking about how there's no gatekeepers and how it allows you to explore, what things would you, what things from this experience does it make you more excited to get involved with? You said like I would like to have better relationship with publishers. What other things come? You talked a little bit. Maybe I want to look at starting a retail store. Like what other things like came of mind having experienced
right
the industry show?
I'm going to start by saying the culture, the people, all right, the culture. I want these people to be my coworkers. I really don't care what I do. I want to have a life where these are who I interact with every day. And I'm going to stick with content creation for now. And then until something opens up to where maybe I can suit someone's needs and be a service. So right now I'm still exploring. So I'm going to go back to GAMA. I'm going to still have an open mind. I'm still going to meet people. I'm still going to chat it up, play games, and see where I fit into this world. I feel accepted, but what can I do to help others? I guess is where I'm going to focus on.
That seems good. Like always with an idea of helping others is a great way to like figure out if a community is for you. Mm-hmm. Before you go to a community and ask for something, it's better to go to a community and ask how you can help. And like gaming really rewards that behavior as well. So the big caveat for all these industry discussions is a life in gaming is a life typically in poverty. Like depending on where you're moving from, like electrician is fairly lucrative comparatively. Rainbow Bunny Bot Becky and I have this discussion like how do you make ends meet? For me myself, I have, depending on how you splice them, I have 5 jobs. Or I have one job. I have Fight in a Box full time, and then I have 3 clients for my business consulting in gaming. One of them is my business partner Bob for Tower Games. I help with like managing, consulting, and marketing. Another one is Matt Paquette and company. Did you see any of Matt's presentations at GAMA, Steve?
No, I missed him.
Okay, so he's the guy who runs the graphic design industry, like the premier graphic design industry or agency for the industry. Like games like Wonderland's War, the new version of Food Chain Magnate, Daggerheart, and some of the Critical Role books, like some big titles, those all go through his agency. So I help out there. Now I'm helping out with marketing for Floodgate for an idea to help them with the keeping their evergreens, helping people create forever memories. That's my exact purview with Floodgate is helping people go from where they are now to experiencing a title with the people closest with them, with the idea that this becomes part of their life or their forever memories. And so that's sort of rewarding. And then my side hustle is I mentor people in gaming. Particularly game design is what I end up doing. So those are the things. That is how I make a life in gaming possible. A life in gaming is incredibly rewarding, just not financially.
Right. Yes. And I'm sure there's different, like yourself, you have different avenue or revenue streams coming in to make it work, and I'm open to all that. Wherever I can go and help. Now, you said you do mentorship. Was that through the Horizons Fellowship with Gamma?
I've mentored two people during no. I've been a lecturer multiple times for the Horizon Fellowship. My mentoree, somebody found me on TikTok, and then another one is a content creator. I don't know if he's ready to talk about the game that he is doing, but I help him, and yeah. So those are the things that I do. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like my little company, uh, we've been making games for 12 years, but still, I need multiple supplemental incomes to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Well, nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as you're doing what you love, that's
Yeah. It helps a lot. Like when I was an adult, I was VP of marketing for software development companies. It helps a lot for me to believe in the people that I am making, you know, positive changes for, or making things happen for, and that has made it all worthwhile.
mm-hmm.
All right, we are now at the close. Steve, where can people find you? What can they expect from you next?
Tabletop Hero is my name. You can find me on most platforms. Can I say them here? Am I allowed?
I don't know.
There's the long form channel. That's here at the tube, and then there's the gram. We'll say the gram. I'm on there too. But you can find me on all those places. Links should be right in my TikTok channel. Coming from me this year, you're going to see a lot more as far as reviews. Also, I'm tapping into news too. So I've kind of talked with Board Game Wire, and we and got his permission. I can work with him and kind of report stuff that he's putting out.
Nice.
So I want to start to cover industry news. So you're going to be seeing my face a lot more than you have been this past year.
I think approachable industry news, especially with everything, I think there's a real place for that. You got to go find it, and but somebody breaking it up into digestible, like 1 to 3 minute chunks, I would appreciate that. I'm a person who likes short. I've been converted. I've Stockholm syndromed into liking short form content.
Yeah.
That's
be plenty of that, and also whenever you get wind of game announcements and it's not under embargo, I'm be sure to put a video out there too. So
yes. And you'll be participating in my shenanigans. You're going to get your fedora on out. If folks are still with us and they are content creators and want to participate in my shenanigans coming up in 10 days, let me know. I've been reaching out to a lot of people, but if I have not reached out specifically to you yet for a project that I'm doing for Floodgate, please let me know, and I will give you the details. Oh, Bowser. Yeah, let's make this happen. Yeah, but final thoughts.
This has been fun. Hour went by quick. I want to touch base with you more often. This has been a blast. And Gamma is, if you're looking in an industry, Gamma is a place to go, because honestly, it's everything you need in one spot. And whatever it is you want to do, you'll find it there, and people will be there to help you flourish your ideas and help you find the path that you want to find.
Depending where you are in the country and where you are in your journey, it could be a very low commitment, high welcoming, high yield. Like there's a lot of information that you can get in an environment that can be very caring. Yeah. And so I approve the show. It's not perfect. And there are a lot of things we can always work on, but it is a great place to start. And I would advocate for the show as well. Next year will be the last year guaranteed to be in Louisville. So look for the trade show to move again. Like since my time for running a game store, I've been to Gammas in Vegas, Reno, Louisville, and now they're looking at Baltimore, Chicago, and Minneapolis. Like, if it comes up here, oh my God, that's the best of all worlds for me.
And I'm expecting a tour too. You know, you should be giving group tours of Minneapolis if that happens there.
The number one place for in gaming that you want to tour in the Twin Cities is out in Plymouth, and that is the Chip Theory office. It is surreally amazing.
You did a live from there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes, that place was cool.
Nuts.
Yes,
that place is nuts. Everything else, Twin Cities is a food town. Like, is it world class? You have to go to very specific places. Like Philly is a world class food town. I like Baltimore a lot, but Baltimore can be a little rough.
Can be, yeah.
It can be a little rough. Like,
I'm from the Detroit area, so
and I'm from Detroit. Like,
yeah, we can handle it. That's no problem.
Like when I say it's rough. Oh my gosh, yeah. Like John from Terrible Games. Yeah, like it is a city. John, have you been to Chicago? Chicago is surprising where you can have, and Philly can do this too. Like you can have like perfectly safe street. Like 1 block over is don't go walking alone if you look like me streets. Then another street that is like you can't just like walk across it without any problems. Like the Twin Cities, despite riots and everything else, there is no place that I do not feel like I can't walk no matter what time of night or day.
So you have a weird coat all the time.
Baltimore would be great for GAMA. I like Baltimore, but like I said, Baltimore's got some rough spots. Like, one PAX Unplugged, I was coming, walking to the game cafe, and I took a route that was not recommended by Google Maps, and it was almost 10 o'clock at night, and there was just these 6 dudes like looking at me from a construction site that had no lights on, and they were all just huddled up, and I was like,
Do you ever carry a pocket full of dice for defense?
Yeah. Baltimore has good crab cakes.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you ever?
Okay, that's it for today. All right, we had last thoughts. Say goodbye, Steve. This has been the Tabletop Hero, Steve. Look for gaming news from him. You will see a lot of stuff in and around, like weekly updates for me this year. The rest of the month, we're going to talk about life in the industry. Next week, we have Nick Sparkman back, and Nick Sparkman is going to talk about moving from military life to a gaming life, which is a very specific kind of thing. And the week after that, we're going to have Kylie from Games Unlimited, who won the gaming Oscars, the Game Store Oscars. If you don't know what that is, he won half of all of those. And we're going to talk about a life in gaming retail. Anyway, I guess that's it for me today. I just don't have a good wrap up. Everybody, stay safe and have fun, and we'll see you next week on the Board Game Live. Bye, everybody.